Hello, I am Endlessness and welcome back to Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, and today I'd like to give you a guide on the Bahamut EX2 battle. And essentially EX2 is a very similar battle to EX1, however Bahamut will have his physical and magical attack boost since the very beginning of the battle, so he'll hit you a lot harder. But other than that, Bahamut is still the same boss, so he has the same weaknesses, resistances and immunities, so that doesn't change with him other than him having a lot more HP. But my Mats is mainly a healer, but also he'll help with debuffs and buffs a little bit, so prime number with that Bahamut Rapier to break the Diamond Sigil, but also D-Faith to help Sephiroth debuff the boss, and barrier materia for against the dive bomb and the gigantic shield. As for the sub weapons, the same ones I use on him, but all you need for all your characters is bare minimum that 9.3 thousand HP. On all of them, that's the bare minimum. They can survive with about 100 HP, but it's still, you know, they survived. But if you can get them to about 10,000 HP, you'll be much safer. However, Sephiroth, I made him into Ice DPS, so the Ice Arcanum costume, also Shiva and Edged Wings, but all these materia slots are just stat sticks to get his HP and some DPS, but also Kuja Blade to debuff Bahamut's attack, and just sub-weapons for more HP and DPS, but also I gave him Bahamut Knuckles because yes, they have a little bit more of that HP that I needed, but also they give magical defense. And that is important because otherwise my Sephiroth would not really survive the Mega Flare that comes later. However, also Cloud, the same HP, and this time he has the Ramu summon because I'm using him with the Lightning Arcanum, and also Murasame and Bandage Sword for that team magical defense. And also those materia slots are just stat sticks, and I don't really have any great lightning weapons, so that's why I am using all those weapons to boost his physical ability potency. But in this case, if you have some really good lightning weapons, you can use them instead. This is just what I personally have. Alright, EX2 battle, and like I previously mentioned, it's the same thing as EX1. Bahamut just has that magical and physical attack buff since the very beginning of the battle, and it's permanent one. But I'm doing exactly the same thing. Matt is helping Sephiroth debuff the attack, and Cloud has been buffing our own magical defense. But we should be ready, and I am just staying on Matt so I can immediately heal after we get hit with that Mega Flare. But yeah, this one it hits a lot harder than on EX1. And now just save your ADB on your DPS for that countdown. And on EX2 you have to finish that first countdown after 4. You cannot afford to get to 3. But I'll be switching up between the characters a lot. Yes, Sephiroth, if you don't control him, he likes to do the Flare Star instead, and we need that most DPS we can get. But also, during those countdowns we have to also recover HP with our healer. And now I'll be debuffing his attack and also buffing my defense to nullify his debuffs, because that Flare Breath always debuffs our own defense. And you have to do that because he'll hit us with the Umbral Spikes now. And switch to defense against those, because if not, your character will die. and soon we'll have the second countdown, but it's fine, we have our limit breaks almost ready. And here's the first countdown, sorry, the second countdown, but also with mats we have to recover HP. And yes, this countdown you have to finish before, actually when you see 2, you have to be close to finishing it, you cannot get to 1. But we still should be fine. 2, exactly at 2, so we're more than good. That's basically a DPS check, because if you cannot do it as fast as possible, and when you see 1, that's when Bahamut will get a second permanence at the physical and magical attack buff, and he'll also do the Mega Flare, so you want to prolong it as long as possible. But also here the dive bomb, and then will be the frenzy, so just physical attack and we'll be good. But always do the barrier materia on the targeted character, so this time it's Sephiroth, but he has that physical buff, so he barely survives with less than 400 HP. And here you also have to recover, because Sephiroth will get hit again. So again, Flare Star debuff, or if you have any other debuffing weapon, just do this and proceed to recover HP on Sephiroth with Barrier and Cura. And now we're ready. Umbral Frenzy, it hits even harder than Dive Bomb, so Sephiroth, yeah, he has 352 HP left, but also I am switching to Sephiroth because this now will be entering the sigil phase, and I'll be switching between Sephiroth and Cloud, so they can break sigils as often as possible, otherwise they will just save the ADB to do a big DPS move, but we have to break those sigils. But also I'm using my limit breaks just to get rid of them. Mats automatically will do his diamond sigil break. And now just 2 left, so that's fine. But also don't worry about Sephiroth or the other character that was hit, because Bahamut during that sigil phase, he never actually targets that character that was hit previously with that dive bomb and frenzy. But here reduces attacks because now it's umbral spikes, and we will not have a lot of time to recover further. Yes, now it's 1, and this is where he will start charging his Mega Flare. So here I'm just trying to buff our defense and debuff the enemy, but Matt, he's busy because he still has to heal us. But also I'm using that gigantic shield here. That's the only reason why I have that buff, that limit break from Matt. It'll be very close, but we should be alright. But for this Mega Flare, you really need to have that triple max, that high potency magical buff. But we got through, barely, but everyone survived. And here, try to just survive. And also on these attacks, you have to go into defense on any of them. you have to both recover your HP and also you have a very limited amount of ADB here. So I am just triggering those limit breaks, just single ones to prolong those attacks most of the time. But we are very close. It's fine, Sephiroth is still alive. Barely, but still. But ideally, if you can, you have to... all your characters, they have to be alive at this point. And Umbral Spikes. Luckily for me it was Cloud. Yes, he had most amount of HP. And this is where we are entering Dark Aura. And from now on, Bahamut will not attack us anymore. So this is the time where you have to unleash all your DPS as much as you can, as soon as fast as you can. Because now it's the final countdown towards the final Mega Flare. And if you are not fast enough, that Mega Flare will kill you. It does like 30,000 damage. So now it's the DPS race. But also control your characters, because for example Sephiroth will always try to debuff Bahamut. So that's why you want to do his damaging move. So in my case it's earlier Frostblade. Same with Matt. He also often use Defate or something. He doesn't do any DPS, but still it's every little bit that counts. So I'm just switching to do the most DPS as I can, but also I am very close to my summons. And it should... no, it's barely... no, Sephiroth first, because I know he loves to do that flare. And... yeah, should be now. I also use that gigantic shield. It doesn't do anything, but if you use 3 limit breaks at the same time, you have that bigger damage bonus multiplier. But yeah, Bahamut is almost dead, so just a little bit more. But on that EX2 battle, Bahamut has insane amount of health. And that's the final Flare Aura, and now he's starting to charge his Mega Flare. So you have a very limited amount of time to win. But we're also very close, so I am very sure we got this. And as you saw, Cloud actually used the magical team shield instead of attacking, but that's why you always want to look at that ATB and control your characters, because sometimes they can be really treacherous. But yeah, that's the EX2 battle. It is very hard, and for me personally I need that flawless run, especially on that one instance. But yeah, it is possible to win. And personally I did my clear by mistake. I was just trying to see how much I have to adjust my team to survive that Mega Flare after that one countdown. And when I did, it was an accidental win. So after that, I, repeat the process is much easier. But yeah, that's how I did it. So hopefully that will help you too. So thank you very much for watching, and I wish you luck on your own Bahamut EX2 clear. And I guess I'll catch you in the next one.